School. Everyone has to attend at least 13 years of it to be granted the so-called freedom. Despite the great achievements education has made, America has fallen short by focusing on the wrong aspects of education rather than honing in on ensuring that the sole purpose of education still remains, preparing the next generation for the future. America's expectations of teachers has risen too high. Teaching is a vital job today. Before, both parents into the workforce, or divorce rates skyrocketed, making more single parents have to work, children were taught the basics from their parents. Now that many children spend more time with teachers than with their parents, the qualities of families and the lessons that are meant to be taught at home are dwindling. Simple concepts are no longer taught at home. Persenhorn agrees with this with a statement and adds by stating in his article, "How hard can it be to teach? The challenges go beyond the classroom," that school professionals are called upon not only to educate children, but also to nurture curiosity and civil values, and even teach manners. He continues to give an anecdote about a teacher having to constantly remind her students to keep their hands out of noses. Those manners that teachers have now begun to teach are meant to be learned at home with parents. Due to the continual increase of teacher involvement rather than parent, those lessons are now learned at school, an extra for each teacher. Teachers are forced to pick up the slack when it comes to preparing students to be able to behave enough to even begin learning rather than initially having them ready to teach. No other profession can say that they instill the lessons that would shape an individual for their future, making teachers the most essential profession in the nation today. Teachers are the most influential person in a student's life, and America needs to allow the teachers to take control. Teachers are with their students for an average of 6 hours daily, many more than even those children's parents. Because teachers are with students more than any other adult throughout a large span of that child's life, parents should realize that their children's best interest is found not only with the government, but in the teachers. Scott Berkey shows this in his article, "It Only Takes 2 Minutes to Change a Student's Life," a short autobiography, with Berkey stating that a statement from his teacher has meant so much to him over the years and has even impacted him to make changes through others. Berkey's teacher knew what to say to impact that child's life, in return to make a difference to those who attend the school who are meant to make. Teachers, due to the amount of time they spent with each of their students, are the only ones who truly understand children. Some might say that teachers are paid to prepare the minds of tomorrow, and that they must rise to the challenge set in their way, be it bad manners or untaught social skills. Yet they fail to realize that the problem is not with the teachers, but with the parents and America, by placing too high of expectations on teachers. Teachers are hired to prepare students' textbook knowledge for the future. If they were to focus on jobs parents need to account for, teachers would be unable to do their intended job. One aspect of teaching that many rightfully throughout the country would rather do without is standardized testing. The No Child Left Behind Act was signed during the George W. Bush administration and is in place to ensure that every child will succeed. Yet the standardized tests that are in place due to this act hurt the students more than helping them due to the money, pressure, and change of curriculum. Standardized tests are more harmful than helpful. Teaching is the only way for the government to rate schools and children throughout the nation. Despite its use of providing a showcase of students' knowledge, the tests harm students. The only way for success for these tests is for teachers to teach to the test. Teaching how to answer multiple choice questions and the process of elimination, forms of memorization rather than reasoning, deprive students from the valuable textbook knowledge that is needed for the future. The time taken away from the test is shown with Susan Sear's article, "Study Finds Standardized Tests May Hurt Education Efforts," when stating teachers took away from regular curriculum to prepare their students for tests. Preparing for such a test does not teach the students what teaching the initial curriculum would. Teachers teach students memorization rather than reasoning, which is needed for the future. By ridding the test, students would be able to survive in the real world. Standardized tests can destroy one's career. Principals and teachers' skills alike rely on such tests to declare if they are worthy for their jobs. But the government does not take into account the change of the student doing worse than what they know, for example being sick or just simply having an off day. According to Anna M. Phillips in her article, Doubts about high-stake tests and their effects on teachers, states the remaining 40% of a teacher's evaluation is drawn from a student achievement on each standardized test. This rate has doubled in the past few years due to the standardized tests. Yet teachers should not be accountable for the many reasons, void of previous teaching, that the students don't fully give 100% on attempting to pass a standardized test. The test invokes pressure. The schools receive a grade, A through F, and low results can mean termination of a teacher or principal's job, and then to replace them with someone who can simply teach to the test so that the students will pass. Many who support No Child Left Behind think that being dubbed a low-standard school is fine because they will be offered failing school additional funds to help bolster performance and foster student learning, as stated from a definition of the No Child Left Behind Act. The money that comes does not replace the loss of enrollment or having to attempt to rehire to a failing school. Yet the pressure would fall from employees, leading to focus on curriculum for the future without those standardized tests. Without standardized tests, the district would save time and money from rehiring due to the proclaimed failing. Students also remain in one school rather than disrupting their lives, and the ADA, or the money school receives from attendance, still remains high for that specific school, keeping it up and running. With the continual increase of enrollment, school campuses have grown as well. For example, in Beth O'Malley's Audience Queries School Officials at Meeting, Smith Cotton High School constructed a new campus using $22 million. Despite those who thought that the campus was worth every penny due to its space and technological advances, those incentives were grand, but not necessary to produce able minds for the future. The economy is still in a large rut, and schools would save an average of $21 million if they were to build a one-room schoolhouse instead. Not as fancy, but functional and useful still the same, one-room schoolhouses are the easiest way to provide a location to teach. One-room schoolhouses benefit each student more than modernized buildings. The close-knit group of students enrolled in a one-room schoolhouse score better on the oh-so-important standardized tests and obtain close personal relationships with other peers and teachers through a one-on-one curriculum that cannot be found in larger schools. Jody Wilgrone shows us in her article, The One-Room Schoolhouse, which states that each schoolhouse is like a large living room, which provides a comfortable setting for each student to excel and provide more success in their education. America needs to discover that the current changes to the education system are not doing anybody any favors. By ignoring extensive construction plans for new school campuses and referring back to older days, hundreds of thousands of dollars can be saved, helping the economy and in return, all Americans. The National School Board must realize that standardized tests are a waste of time and money, and by eliminating them, schools and students alike will excel. America has placed such high expectations on teachers and failed to realize that many of teachers' current responsibilities should be dealt by the parent, not teachers, who in return impact a student's life more than his own flesh and blood. America is a country made of change, and now is the time to make the needed changes in the education system by eliminating standardized testing, cutting costs on school buildings, and placing less unneeded emphasis on our teachers, despite their importance.